The huge crystal room of the Galactic Council buzzed with worry as the newest alien species got ready to show their maps. Ambassador Jin Ho from Earth sat quietly with all the other space delegates. His fingers tapped on his smooth chair as he waited. A tall alien with shiny rainbow-colored skin stepped forward. This was a Velthari, and it looked nervous. The alien pressed some buttons, and suddenly a giant 3D map of their part of the galaxy appeared floating in the air above everyone. All the different alien species leaned forward to look. Jinho watched as the Velthari pointed to different star systems. Everything seemed normal until the alien's voice got very quiet and scared. Jinho had to lean forward to hear what was being said. "And here," the Velthari whispered, pointing to a huge section of space that glowed angry red on the map, "is what we call the dead zone. No ship that goes in ever comes back. No radio messages get through. Our great-great-grandparents warned us about this place just like their great-great-grandparents warned them." The room filled with worried sounds from all the different aliens. Some made clicking noises, others hummed low notes, and a few even shivered. Everyone seemed to know about this scary place. A bug-like alien with big eyes and sharp mouthparts spoke up next. This was called a hive speaker, and it sounded terrified. "The screaming dark eats everything that goes near it," the bug alien said, its voice shaking. "Even our bravest soldiers won't go there. They say you can hear the screams of 1,000 dead ships if you get too close." More aliens nodded and made scared noises. Some had tentacles that wiggled nervously. Others had feathers that stood up straight with fear. A few aliens near the back of the room actually moved their chairs further away from the red section on the map, as if just looking at it was dangerous. The Velthari continued in its whisper voice. "Our oldest stories say that this region is cursed by ancient gods. Some believe it's where the universe goes to die. Others think it's a gateway to a dimension of pure terror. What we do know for sure is that nothing survives there. The very space itself seems to be broken." Jinho listened to all this with growing surprise. He looked at the coordinates on the map and did some quick math in his head. The numbers seemed very familiar to him. "Our scientists have tried to study it from far away," added another alien with blue fur and 6 arms. "But our instruments go crazy when they point toward the dead zone. The readings make no sense. It's like the laws of physics don't work there anymore." "That's right," agreed a floating jellyfish-like creature. "We sent robot probes toward the edge of the dead zone 50 years ago. They sent back pictures of space storms bigger than whole planets, lightning that could burn through our strongest metal, gravity that pulls in impossible directions. Then the probes just stopped working." The room got even quieter. Some aliens were now shaking with fear just talking about this place. A few had covered their eyes or tentacles as if they didn't want to see the red section on the map anymore. Tiu, Velthari's skin changed from rainbow colors to a dark, worried purple. "The most frightening part is the silence," it said. "Not just that we can't hear anything from ships that go in, but the silence itself seems alive. It reaches out and grabs sounds, pulls them into the darkness where they die screaming." At this point, Jinho couldn't stay quiet anymore. He politely raised his hand, the way his mother had taught him when he was little and wanted to ask a question in school. The entire enormous room went completely silent. Hundreds of alien eyes, stalks, sensors, and other seeing parts all turned to look at the human. Some aliens had never seen a human before, and they stared with curiosity mixed with fear. "Excuse me," Jinho said in his normal, friendly voice, "but are you talking about the outer helix region? You know, sectors 447 through 892? The Velthari's mouth fell open. Its rainbow skin flickered between colors like a broken light. You know the exact location of the cursed realm?" It stammered. "Know it?" Jinho smiled the way humans do when they think something is funny. "We have 14 colonies there. My sister Yoon-ji runs a big mining operation on Tempest 3. Really nice place for a vacation, though the lightning storms sometimes mess up our golf tournaments. Last month they had to cancel the final round because the electromagnetic pulses kept making the golf balls change direction mid-flight. The silence in the room was so complete that you could have heard a pin drop, if pins made any noise in the vacuum of space. Then, one by one, aliens started fainting. The bug alien fell over with a loud thunk, The jellyfish creature deflated like a balloon. 3 of the blue furry aliens collapsed in a pile. Even some of the braver species looked like they might pass out. Jin-Ho looked around the room in confusion, wondering why everyone seemed so surprised that humans lived in such a nice part of the galaxy. Dr. Byung-Soo put on his spacesuit and checked all the buttons and zippers. The big ship called Harmony was getting close to the first human town in what the aliens called the Dead Zone. Around him, 6 different alien visitors were acting very scared, even though they were inside a perfectly safe human spaceship. "Phew, gravity is going crazy," screamed an alien scientist with long, wiggly arms like an octopus. This alien was called an Altarian, and its tentacles were moving around wildly because it was so frightened. "Why isn't this ship being smashed into tiny pieces?" Captain Sora, a calm human woman, looked at her control panel and shrugged. "Everything looks fine to me," she said in a relaxed voice. "Just a little bumpy ride because of those 2 spinning stars nearby. We fly through stuff like this all the time." Through the big window of the ship, they could all see a planet called New Busan coming closer. Huge lightning storms covered the whole world, making the air glow bright blue and purple. Each lightning bolt was bigger than most aliens' home planets. The ship's computers showed that the radiation around the planet was so strong, it should have killed everything living there. "Look over there," Sora said, pointing to a group of bright lights on the dark side of the planet. "That's the main city. About 2 million people live there." A bird-like alien called a Zephyrian made a scared squawking sound. All its feathers stood up straight like it had been shocked. "That's impossible," it chirped. "Nothing could live in a place like that." As their ship flew down through the lightning storms, Dr. Byung-Soo watched the alien visitors hide under their seats and cover their eyes. His own instruments showed that everything was perfectly normal. The lightning that made the aliens so scared was just regular weather for this planet, like a thunderstorm on Earth, but bigger and prettier. The octopus-like Altarian was shaking so hard its tentacles were making slapping sounds against the floor. "We're all going to die," it wailed. "The energy readings are impossible. This storm could power our entire home galaxy." "Really?" asked Captain Sora with interest. "Huh, we mostly just use it to charge our phones and run the air conditioning. Though I guess it does make the streetlights pretty bright." A robot-like alien with glowing eyes started making beeping sounds of panic. "Warning! Warning! Radiation levels exceed all safety limits. All organic life should be dead." "Yeah, the radiation here is a bit higher than Earth," agreed Dr. Byung-Soo, "but nothing too bad. My grandmother lived here for 40 years and she was fine. Made great kimchi too." They landed at the spaceport, which looked like any normal airport except for the constant lightning flashing in the sky. As soon as they touched down, Dr. Byung-Soo could see dozens of human children playing outside in what the aliens' machine said was a deadly radiation zone. The kids were laughing and running around, playing games like tag and soccer. Some were flying kites that got hit by lightning bolts, which just made the kites glow and the children cheer. A group of teenagers were having a picnic right under a crackling energy field that the alien sensors said could melt steel. "Look at that," whispered the bird alien, pressing its face against the window. "Those small humans are playing in energy that would turn us into dust in seconds." A little human girl named Haewon noticed their ship and came running over. She looked about 8 years old and was completely happy, even though she was standing in the middle of what the aliens thought was certain death. She pressed her face against the ship's window and waved. "Are you the space visitors?" she asked through the communication system, her voice full of excitement. "My dad told me you're scared of our weather. Is it true you've never seen lightning before?" The bug-like hive speaker, who had been trying to be brave, took one look at the little girl standing calmly in the deadly radiation and fainted. It fell over with a loud crash, its many legs twitching. "Oh no," said Haewon, looking worried. "Is your friend okay? Do you want me to get my mom? She's a doctor, though she's probably busy right now because of the solar flare warning." "Solar flare warning?" squeaked the octopus alien. "Yeah," said Haewon casually. "We're supposed to get a really big one in about an hour. Dad says we might have to stay inside during recess because the sky might get too bright. Last time there was a solar flare, it melted Jenny's bicycle, but that was because she left it outside." 3 more aliens fainted. Dr. Byung-soo opened the ship's door and stepped outside, breathing the air normally. The alien visitors watched, in horror as he walked around in conditions that their instruments said should have killed him instantly. "Come on," he called back to them. "Let's go meet the mayor. She's making lunch for everyone, and I heard she makes the best bulgogi this side of the galaxy." The little girl clapped her hands. "Ooh, food. Are the space visitors going to eat with us? That's so cool. Wait until I tell my friends that aliens are scared of a little lightning." As she skipped away through what the aliens considered an apocalyptic hellscape. The remaining conscious alien visitors wondered what kind of universe they had gotten themselves into. The alien visitors thought their trip couldn't get any worse after seeing New Busan. But they were very wrong. Their next stop was a world called Forge World. And as their ship got closer, all their warning alarms started going off at once. "Massive volcanic activity detected," screamed the ship's computer. "Planet-killing eruption in progress. All life should be extinct." Through the window, they could see a world covered in glowing red mountains that were shooting fire and melted rock high into the sky. The entire planet looked like it was exploding. "Oh, good. We're just in time for the evening show," said Dr. Byung-soo, looking out the window happily. The sunset eruptions are always beautiful this time of year. A human engineer named Tai-jin met them at the landing area. He was wearing just regular clothes, like he was going to the store, even though he was standing next to a mountain that was shooting lava into the air. "Welcome to New Seoul," Tai-jin said with a big smile. "Sorry about the noise. The main volcano is a bit active today, but that just means the hot springs will be extra warm." He led them along metal walkways that were built right over lakes of melted rock. The lava bubbled and glowed beneath their feet, hot enough to melt their spaceship. Human families were walking around casually, like they were in a normal park. "The heat energy here is amazing," Tai-jin explained as they walked. "We use it to power electricity for the whole continent. Much better than solar panels. And the kids just love swimming in the hot springs we built where the lava overflows." The octopus-like Altarian looked down at what its instrument said was planet-killing volcanic activity, and saw human children splashing happily in pools of water heated by liquid rock. It made a strange gurgling sound and almost fell over. "Those small humans," it whispered, "are swimming in water heated by the fires of planetary destruction." "Yeah, the kids love it," agreed Tai-jin. "Though we do have to remind them not to swim right after the volcano burps up new lava. The water gets a bit too hot even for us." Their next stop was even more impossible. Tempest Station was a giant spinning wheel floating in space, surrounded by flying rocks and space debris. As their ship got close, it started shaking like a washing machine. "Gravitational forces are crushing us," wailed the bird-like Zephyrian alien. "We're going to be squashed flat." Chief Administrator Minna met them at the docking bay. She was a cheerful human woman who walked around normally, even though the aliens' instruments showed that the artificial gravity here was 4 times stronger than what most species could survive. "Welcome to Tempest Station," Minna said brightly, apparently not noticing that the alien visitors were having trouble standing up under the crushing weight. "We're so excited to show you around our community." She led them through what looked like a normal neighborhood park, with trees and grass, and playgrounds. Human children were running around and playing games, completely unbothered by gravity that should have broken their bones. "We had to build the station this way," Minna explained, as they watched kids playing on swings that moved incredibly slowly, due to the heavy gravity. "All the space rocks around here made it impossible to build a regular space station. This spinning design was much easier. The kids think it's fun because they can jump really high and hang in the air longer." The robot-like alien was making beeping sounds of distress. "These gravitational forces would crush our strongest warriors," it said. "How are those tiny humans playing games?" "Oh, they're used to it," laughed Minna. "Though we do have to be careful when visitors come from Earth. Earth gravity is so weak that our kids sometimes accidentally jump too high and bump their heads on the ceiling when they visit other places." But the worst was yet to come. Their final stop was Haven Colony, located in what every alien species called the Screaming Dark. As soon as their ship entered the region, the alien visitors started acting very strange. The space around them looked wrong. Colors that shouldn't exist swirled in the sky. Shapes appeared and disappeared randomly. The very air seemed to whisper terrible things that made no sense. "The voices," muttered the bird alien, covering its ears with its wings. "They're telling me secrets about the end of everything." "Reality is breaking," moaned the octopus alien, its tentacles curled up in terror. "I can see through time and it hurts." Colony Director Jae-yeon met them at the landing area, acting perfectly normal while impossible things happened in the sky above them. Colors bled into each other like spilled paint, and the air itself seemed to be singing. "Hi there," Jae-yeon said cheerfully. "Sorry about all the noise. The quantum storms have been acting up this week. We're thinking about building some sound dampeners, but honestly, most people have gotten used to it. It's kind of like living next to a busy highway." Behind them, the bird alien had curled up in a ball and was rocking back and forth. "The void is speaking," it whispered. "It knows my name. It knows everyone's name." Jae-yeon looked worried. "Oh dear, should we go inside? The building has special shielding that might help your friend feel better. We learned early on that some species are more sensitive to the background quantum chatter." "Quantum chatter?" squeaked the octopus alien. "Yeah, just the universe having a conversation with itself," Jae-yeon said with a shrug. "You get used to it after a while. My daughter says it helps her fall asleep." Back at the big crystal room of the Galactic Council, hundreds of aliens had gathered to hear what the expedition team had discovered. Word about their trip to the dead zone had spread quickly through all the different alien communities. Everyone wanted to know what terrible things they had found. Dr. Byung-soo stood in front of all the assembled aliens, next to his alien teammates, who still looked scared and confused from their trip. The octopus-like Altarian scientist was shaking, and the bird alien kept making small, frightened chirping sounds. "What we found is very surprising," the Altarian began, its voice still wobbly from fear. "The place we call the dead zone isn't actually deadly to humans because—" The alien stopped talking and looked at Dr. Byung-soo, unable to finish the sentence. The human scientist stepped forward with a calm smile. "Because Earth itself is what you would consider a dead world, Dr. Byung-soo said simply. The entire enormous room exploded with shocked sounds. Aliens gasped, clicked, beeped, chirped, and made all sorts of surprised noises. Some fell off their chairs, others covered their eyes or ears. A few started spinning in circles, which was how their species showed extreme surprise. "Wait, what?" squeaked a small furry alien from the back. "Did he just say Earth is a dead world?" Dr. Byung-soo nodded and pressed a button. Suddenly, a giant 3D picture of Earth appeared floating above everyone's heads. It looked like a normal blue and green planet, but then numbers and facts started appearing around it. "Our home planet," Dr. Byung-soo explained, "has crushing gravity that would squash most of you flat. It has deadly radiation from space that would cook you. It has violent storms with lightning that could power your cities. And the ground is always moving and shaking because of earthquakes and volcanoes." More facts appeared around the floating Earth. The numbers showed things like earthquake strength, radiation levels, and storm power. To the aliens, these numbers looked impossible. "We evolved in conditions that you think are supernatural horrors," Dr. Byung-soo continued. "Constant earthquakes that crack the ground, magnetic fields that flip and change, lightning storms that can be seen from space, a melted rock core in the center of our planet that makes continents move around." The rainbow-skinned Velthari delegates' colors changed to deep purple, which meant it was extremely upset and scared. "You mean," it said in a shaky voice, "your entire species grew up in the screaming dark?" Dr. Byung-soo chuckled. "That's just what we call Tuesday weather." A jellyfish-like alien floated forward, its body pulsing with confused colors. "But how is that possible? Our scientists say that conditions like that would kill any life form." "Well," said Dr. Byung-soo, "your scientists have never met humans before. We're pretty tough because we had to be. On Earth, if you're not tough, you don't survive long enough to have kids." Ambassador Jin Ho stood up from his seat and walked over to join Dr. Byung-soo. "I think there's been a big misunderstanding about what makes a place good to live in," he said. "What you fear as cursed places full of death, we see as nice neighborhoods with good property values." The room got very quiet. You could hear alien breathing, beeping, and other life support sounds, but nobody was talking. Those impossible conditions you told us about? Jinho continued. The lightning storms, the crushing gravity, the deadly radiation, the reality warping, quantum effects? Those are exactly the reasons we chose those worlds to build our cities on. A robot-like alien's head started spinning around in confusion. Does not compute, it said. Humans choose deadly worlds because they are deadly? Not deadly to us, explained Dr. Byung-Soo. Comfortable. Earth taught us to live with danger. What kills you makes us feel at home. He pointed to the floating picture of Earth. By your standards, Earth sits in the middle of a dead zone that covers half of our part of the galaxy. We call it the local group, and it's full of radiation, gravity wells, unstable stars, and space weather that would destroy most civilizations. So you're saying, whispered the bug-like hive speaker, that humans are from a place that's even worse than the dead zone? Much worse, agreed Jinho cheerfully. Earth is in what you might call a super dead zone. The dead zone you're all scared of? That's like our vacation spot. A nice quiet place to relax. The silence in the room was so complete that some aliens wondered if time itself had stopped. Finally, a small, squeaky voice from somewhere in the back asked, So, what do humans consider? A dangerous place? Dr. Byung-Soo and Jinho looked at each other and smiled. Well, said Dr. Byung-Soo, there are some places even we won't go. Like the Galactic Core region. That place is seriously dangerous. The Galactic Core? Gasped the Velthari. That region would tear apart matter itself. Exactly, said Jinho. Way too risky. Though we have been talking about maybe sending a survey team to check it out. You know, just to see if it might be suitable for a small research station. Half the aliens in the room fainted. 3 months after the big meeting at the Galactic Council, the human colonies in the dead zone had started having a lot of fun with their scary reputation. The humans thought it was hilarious that aliens were so frightened of their normal everyday life. On New Busan, the planet with the constant lightning storms, gift shops started selling t-shirts that said, I survived the dead zone, and coffee, mugs with pictures of the purple lightning. The few brave alien tourists who visited could buy hats that said, I went to hell and all I got was this stupid hat. The shop owners were making lots of money because aliens from across the galaxy wanted souvenirs from the most dangerous place they could imagine. Little Haewon, the girl who had met the first alien visitors, now had a part-time job selling postcards to alien tourists. Tell your friends back home that you visited the Screaming Dark, she would say cheerfully to terrified aliens who were hiding behind protective shields. On Forge World, where the volcanoes never stopped erupting, the hotels started advertising extreme relaxation in conditions that would vaporize lesser species. They built special viewing rooms where aliens could watch human families having picnics next to lava flows while staying safely behind thick protective glass. Come experience the thrill of almost certain death from the comfort of our radiation-proof suites, read the advertisements. Watch real humans do impossible things like swimming in volcano-heated pools and hiking on active lava flows. The most successful business was run by Governor Sang-woo of Haven Colony, the place where reality itself seemed broken. He had started the galaxy's first impossible tourism agency. Aliens could sign up for guided tours of places where the laws of physics didn't work normally. Experience existential terror in a controlled environment, his advertisements promised. Feel your sanity slip away while our trained human guides keep you perfectly safe. See colors that don't exist. Hear the universe whispering secrets. The waiting list for these tours was surprisingly long. Apparently, lots of aliens wanted to be scared out of their minds, as long as they knew they would survive the experience. Governor Sang-woo had to hire more human tour guides to keep up with demand. It's like a horror movie, explained one alien tourist, a purple blob creature. Except it's real and we know we won't actually die. Very exciting. Captain So-ra now had a very different job than before. Instead of flying normal cargo ships, she commanded special vessels designed to carry alien passengers safely through what they thought were deadly regions of space. Her ship had extra shielding, protective fields, and emergency medical equipment for aliens who fainted from fear. "It's pretty funny," she told her crew. "We've become tour guides for our own neighborhood. It's like showing someone around your backyard, and they act like it's the most terrifying place in the universe." Her crew laughed as they prepared for another tour group. Today they were taking a group of crystal-based aliens to see a human farming colony built inside an active star system. The aliens thought it was impossible, but the humans just used the star's energy to grow really big vegetables. At the monthly Galactic Council meeting, Ambassador Jin Ho had even bigger news to share. He stood up in front of all the assembled aliens with a huge smile on his face. "We have some exciting expansion plans to announce," he said happily. A giant holographic map appeared above the room, showing the very center of the galaxy. This region was marked in black on every alien star chart, with warnings written in dozens of languages. "We've found 47 planets with excellent potential for building new cities," Jin Ho announced. "The energy from the giant black holes in the center will give us fantastic power for our cities. We're going to call the project New Soul." The entire room erupted in panicked sounds. Aliens were screaming, beeping, clicking, and making all sorts of horrified noises. The bug-like Hive speaker's voice translator started crackling and making static sounds before it managed to say, "But that region would tear apart atoms themselves." "Only if you don't put up proper shields," Jin Ho replied cheerfully. "We've already sent 3 survey teams. They say the gravity waves from the black holes feel really nice, like getting a full-body massage." As aliens all over the room started fainting and running around in panic, Jin Ho made a note on his phone to call his cousin Dong Hyun, who owned a construction company. Building cities next to galaxy-eating black holes was going to need a lot of construction work. Outside the space station's windows, human ships were already flying toward regions that every alien map marked as certain death or absolutely do not go here. The human crews were laughing and making bets about which impossible world would make the best place for a vacation home. "I bet the planet next to the neutron star would have great fishing," said one pilot. "No way," laughed another. "The one inside the radiation nebula will have better weather." The galaxy had learned something important about humans. Their greatest strength wasn't their weapons or their technology. It was their ability to live happily in places that would destroy other civilizations, all while laughing about being called crazy for living in their own backyard. After all, when you grow up in impossible conditions, everywhere else just looks like a nice place to visit.